Hello Aquarius, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me for your August 2023 Tarotscope. It is my absolute pleasure and such a blessing to be here with you. So thank you for sharing your time, your energy, your attention, and of course your company with me. In the description box below, there will be links to all sorts of goodies. There will also be a timestamp if you would like to jump to the start of your reading, but please do keep in mind that this is a collective reading, not a personal reading, so only take what resonates with you and leave the rest. For this month, we are going to be looking at how you grew last month, what truth you are ready to have revealed to you now, how this truth will challenge you, how this truth will bless you, and the guidance that will best support your evolution. Before we dive in, I just want to share that while I was shuffling the tarot coming into your reading, I did see both the High Priestess and the Queen of Cups side by side, both in the upright. And so I do feel that whatever's coming through here for you for this month, or whatever is most relevant for your evolution, I feel like you know, right? On some level, you are in touch with your intuition and the truth around what is needed or required, what path maybe is best for you in regards to your evolution, your growth, your development. And so I just felt like I needed to share that with you. I felt like I wanted to acknowledge that the information I feel is available there to you if you allow it to come through, if you allow yourself to accept and acknowledge it. But let's dive in and see what the cards are saying for you for this month. Father, Mother, Life, Universe, Spirits, Guides, Angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves. How did Aquarius grow last month, please? July 2023. How did Aquarius grow last month, please? Okay, thank you. What truth is Aquarius ready to have revealed to them, please? What truth is Aquarius ready to have revealed? Okay, thank you. How will this truth challenge Aquarius, please? Thank you. How will this truth bless Aquarius? Okay, thank you. Can we please have some clarity on how Aquarius grew last month? Okay, thank you. Can we please have more? All right. Tell us more, please, about how this truth, okay. Tell us more, please, about how this truth will bless Aquarius. Oh, good golly. I don't feel like it's these here. I feel like it's these. What guidance will best support Aquarius in their evolution, please? What guidance will best support Aquarius in their evolution? Thank you. So it's very interesting. I'm not sure if you can hear this or not, but I can hear a vacuum going. And I do feel like for whatever reason, there's like a cleanup going on in your experience, right? Maybe not all of you will resonate with this, but I almost feel like that you're cleaning house, or you're being encouraged to clean house. That could mean cutting or creating boundaries in relationships that simply are no longer serving you. This could mean literally cleaning up your physical space, getting rid of things that, clothes that you don't wear, items that you no longer feel connected to or no longer have a need for. This could be cleaning out even your car for some of you. Very interesting. Um, but yeah, okay, thank you. I'm also getting this energy of like sweeping up the residue of the past. So I feel that for some of you, there is this kind of cleaning going on where you are potentially purging the things that just aren't in alignment or aren't serving you. You have no connection to. Uh, you don't feel like you need them, right? Some of you may even find yourself this month kind of going on like a binge where you're just tossing, right? Or donating whatever it is that's like, nope, I don't need this. I don't need this. Why am I holding on to this? What is this for? I don't even know what this is. Like, just getting rid of all of these things that are taking up space in your reality or in your energy. So it's very interesting. But let's see how you grew last month. So we do have here the law of pure potential. Open your mind to all possibilities and allow yourself to receive everything. So right away, I'm getting some fear coming up. So I do feel that for some of you, you have been potentially releasing fears. Again, it's very interesting because that release kind of energy is coming through heavily, not just with fear, but remember, as I said just moments ago, releasing things out, from your physical reality as well, or people. That could also apply to situations, right? It does feel more physical to me than perhaps internal, or spiritual, maybe, or mental. But I feel like there's some aspect where it's just like establishing that you don't feel a connection with certain things anymore and just ridding yourself of them, but releasing things nonetheless. This could have a lot to do with fear as well. For some of you, maybe you were holding on to certain things that you were afraid to get rid of, or again felt so deeply connected to, or there's some connection to your past there, and you have now found yourself able to release those things. But with this law of pure potential, I feel like you grew last month because I feel like there has come this, how would I say, it feels like you may have taken on new ideas, new belief systems, potentially new ways of being. And for some of you, maybe this doesn't seem like something that would be super, super impactful. Maybe you just started taking a yoga class, or, just some what may feel insignificant almost, or like maybe it wouldn't have such a grand impact. But I feel like what it has done for you is really put you in this new realm. It's really kind of transformed the way that you are seeing things. And I feel like you've grown last month in the sense that you are opening up to a world of new possibility, if that makes sense. Previously, maybe you found yourself a little bit, how would we say, maybe like detached, right? How would I say this? Maybe you just, kind of found yourself like not really wanting to get too attached to anything, right? Not really, how would I say this? It just feels like not like wanting to get, you might have referred to it as like not wanting to get your hopes up about things. And for whatever reason, I feel like for some of you, I don't know what it is, whatever happened, there's been something that has transformed the way that you're seeing things. And maybe it's happened little by little, but you're starting to see through some of the illusions. And perhaps those illusions are based in fear, right? And so I feel like somehow it has opened up or reformed, if you will, the way that you're seeing things. I feel like it's just given you more of this kind of hopeful outlook, or maybe your faith has just increased and you're now seeing that there's possibility all around, right? I don't know how this has come in. Again, this could be something that maybe you haven't seen as being incredibly significant. Like, maybe again, like maybe you took on a yoga class, maybe maybe you met somebody and just started having these interesting conversations. And maybe they're not conversations that you saw as significant to begin with, or super impactful or something, but all of a sudden it's like things, you're just having this new outlook on things. Okay, it's very, very interesting, and I do love it because it feels very, how would I say, curious. It feels very curious. It feels like I'm willing to explore this further. Yeah, look at this. You have the wheel. So like I was saying, it's very interesting. Both of these women on these cards have their arms wide open. Now, regardless whether you're male, female, doesn't matter. But, with that energy of being very open and the wheel coming out here, again, I feel like there's this thing, something has happened, okay? Something has changed. And I feel like for some of you, again, it's brought this closure, which has, again, allowed you to move forward, which may be why you are feeling so called to, like, get rid of things, throw things away. You don't feel so attached to things. It's not feeling so detrimental for you to get rid of things. You may be feeling more hopeful, more generous, right? This is fascinating to me. You also have here, yeah, the moon. So it's very interesting because I feel like the way by which you grew last month was something that I feel was big. It feels like a big growth period for you. Or let me rephrase, because our arcana comes from the word arcane, which is like the mysteries essentially of ourselves. And so I feel like you've somehow, even if you wouldn't necessarily call it that or label it that or explain it as such, I feel like you are uncovering bits of yourself, or maybe you're okay with uncovering bits of yourself, or or allowing yourself, there's that energy of hope or faith coming through, or moving past certain belief systems, certain some things that in the past you were seeing, or rather that were creating a lot of maybe confusion or fear, doubt, especially, I feel. Yeah, it just really feels like there's something here that has helped you to move past fear and doubt, confusion, misinterpretation, illusion. I don't know why I'm picking this up, and maybe this will only resonate with a couple of people, but it feels like for some of you, your connection to spirituality has changed as well, right? To that more mystical, intuitive side of yourself. For some of you, I feel like there's something here about that is also, or could have also changed. Again, that intuitive energy is coming through. You may have found yourself listening to your intuition a little bit more, or maybe hearing it a little bit more is maybe a better way of putting that. So for example, maybe you're like, oh, I think I'm going to clean out my closet. I feel, for some reason, I just feel like I should. And then you're like picking up things, and you're, like, okay, yeah, I feel like I can get rid of this now all of a sudden. Like, it's just, I feel like there's something about your intuition kind of speaking to you. It's very fascinating to me, this energy, because it certainly feels like this deeper connection. And for some reason, it's bringing through this hope. But again, I feel like, you grew by something has ended. Something has closed. And whatever that is, I feel like it has changed your perspectives on things you have doubted or feared or were confused about or misinterpreted previously. And it feels like you now have this open, you're looking at things much differently. So what truth are you ready to have revealed to you? We do have here the law of emergent evolution. Make a new declaration for your life. It feels as though, I don't know, for some of you, I get this feeling that you have perhaps come to some conclusion, or maybe you were exposed to some information or something where, how would I say, you may realize that you have more power over your experience than what you previously thought. It's very interesting because here's the thing. It feels as though for some of you, there's been this disconnection. This maybe like detached, scattered, impersonal type of energy where it's like, I don't want to get too comfortable in maybe, this space, fill in the blank space, whatever that looks like. And it feels as though with this truth that you are ready to have revealed to you, there is more of this. Here, let me just backtrack a little bit. I feel like you haven't maybe wanted to get comfortable anywhere because it's like things are always changing, which is true, right? And there's could have been this fear of being hurt, of being maybe misled, or something that could bring about, I don't know, like there's been a lack of hope or something. Things don't ever seem to work out. Maybe you've said that. I know that there's a lot of fear coming up, okay? So there's kind of like this negativity, okay? And it feels as though in combination with how you have grown thus far, and maybe even just with what's happened over the course of, the last month, you may find yourself in this space where you recognize that you have more power over your experience than what you thought. It seems like previously you could have been very detached or impersonal, because it's like, I don't have any control. Like things just are what they are. And so I have to always be on the defense. Where now you may find yourself in a position where you understand that you are creating your reality. And if you are in a constant state of negativity, then that is what you're going to be experiencing. So it feels as though you may find that the truth you're ready to have revealed to you is that you have the potential, the power within you, the strength, when I say power, I mean like the actual power to create your experience and influence your experience. And so it seems as though the truth that you're ready to have revealed is that you have the opportunity to make a declaration over your life, to influence the way that you experience life based on based on your perspective, where you are sitting, right? So I feel that, and it's interesting because for some of you, I feel like you may have had this conversation previously and maybe you didn't buy into it, or you're like, that doesn't make any sense, or I don't know, something. It just didn't click at that point. But it feels like you're now ready. Okay, again, maybe only some of you will resonate with that, but it just really feels here like you are ready to transform. And I feel like that's the biggest truth that you're ready to have revealed to you. Like you are ready to step into your power, ready to kind of take the reins back, as it were. I do have the Knight of Pentacles, yeah, which is interesting because so with this Knight of Pentacles in the reverse, it really comes through as maybe not taking responsibility, again, for how your life unfolded. It was kind of like this, I have no control. In reality, or in truth, you do, right? It is up to us to take responsibility for the way that we show up in our experience, the energy that we're putting out, and essentially taking responsibility for that and being intentional alters what things come back to us, the things that find our way back to us, right? The energy we put out is what we get back. As within, so without. As above, so below. You may have heard this, right? So I feel that you may realize, perhaps for some of you, that you've been working without reward. Like the things you've been putting your effort towards, how do I say this? Have not been fulfilling, satisfying to you. Right? I hope that makes sense. Um, there are others of you, I feel like maybe you, how would I say this? We're almost obsessing over, again, things that just maybe now are not as important to you, or once this truth is revealed to you, is not as important to you. But you are ready to have this truth revealed to you. You are ready to take responsibility. And I feel like for some of you, you weren't. Right? It really kind of feels like running through life all willy-nilly. Just going to be honest. Okay? It really kind of feels like, I don't know how to explain it. Actually, the picture that's being shown to me is like a fish out of water, in a sense. Like, I don't know. Or just running around all willy-nilly, like not, again, very kind of detached, maybe unfocused. And that's not to say that you haven't had success in areas of your life. But what I mean is that the things that I feel that you've accomplished or brought in or whatever just haven't been fulfilling. Not really. I mean, that's not to say that they haven't provided for you or that you haven't had fun or enjoyed certain things at certain times, but it feels like one of those things where, like, at night or when you're by yourself, it feels you feel very unfulfilled. And I feel like this is that turning point for you. It's that taking responsibility, and recognizing that you, again, influence your reality. And I feel that there could be, for some of you, again, this truth that's revealed to you, and you may find yourself making a new declaration over your life. Like, I'm not going to put my energy towards things that just for no freaking reason. Right? For some of you, I feel like you could have been very, how would we say, attached to the more physical world things, maybe finances, maybe, material things, but very disconnected emotionally, very disconnected from your heart space, very much in your mind for some of you. So how will this truth challenge you? We have the law of neutrality, practice non-reaction, and staying in, staying in equanimity. I feel that, okay, yeah. Um, how do I say this? Even if we, to the best of our ability, are kind of try to be detached from, certain feelings, certain emotions, etc., they influence us regardless. As much as we would like to think that we can just, kind of bully them into a corner or, into, I don't know, hiding or whatever, they, they always seem to find their way, right? They always seem to affect us in one way or another. They kind of pull the strings from behind the curtain. And I feel like one of the ways that this is going to challenge you is I feel like it's, again, kind of showing you that whatever energy you're sitting in, whatever thoughts you're putting out, whatever declarations you're making are what are going to show up, right? Like this is what is going to contribute to what you experience. And so it seems to me like a challenge for you is practicing that non-reaction, finding the ability to stay neutral, to play the observer in your experience. So it's not that we're avoiding emotions. It's not that we are avoiding our fears. It is that we are looking at them from a different perspective. We are not reacting to them, right? We are instead figuring out, how would I say, it's instead analyzing them in some ways, taking the time to figure out where it's coming from. Again, looking at it from like an observer's, pardon me, perspective. And how do I say this though? Because I don't want there to be confusion in saying like this is not about, like, we're not diving deep. No, you certainly can dive deep and figure out why why you're feeling the way you're feeling, why you're getting triggered by certain things, why certain things affect you the way that they do. Right? So it's not about necessarily not diving deep. It's not about not acknowledging. It's just simply about not reacting. Like, oh, somebody said something, and for some reason you're feeling some type of way about it. So instead of lashing out at them and reacting, it's what is going on here? Right? I am going to read from the guidebook for you on this card, just to get us some more insight on how this might challenge you. I feel like I'm only going to read the message versus the interpretation and the message of this law. It is the final law in this deck, which is very interesting to me. Yeah, so it says here, right? You may be experiencing a type of tug of war in your life. The moment you put a positive or negative meaning on something that has or has not occurred, you instantaneously experience a positive or negative feeling. By drawing this card, your higher self desires for you to practice staying neutral in your perceptions and to not take things personally. When you can do this, you will experience true freedom of choice. The universe is guiding you to practice non-reaction and staying in equanimity. Where in life do you find yourself judging people? If you were to take full responsibility to be the change you wish to see in the world, what inspired action would you take instead of judging others? Isn't that interesting? Because we were just talking about responsibility, right? So again, I feel like this is the challenge. And here's the thing, Aquarius, you tend to be very humanitarian, right? So it's interesting that that would come up in the sense of, you know, if you were to take full responsibility to be the change you wish to see in the world, what inspired action would you take? That's the challenge for you, right? Instead of pointing out the flaws of everyone else, it's like, where can I be that change? Where can I take responsibility? Right? And declaring. So I do feel for some of you like that declaration is like being the change you want to see, right? In your own life and in the world. You also have here as a challenge the law of cause and effect. Are you sitting down? Because it says here, change your beliefs, change your life. Again, being the change you want to see. And one of the things that I've been speaking on for, almost 30 minutes here is essentially seeing things from a different perspective. Right? It's very interesting because what is this? It's like Harry Potter. There's a wand on this card. It's like freaking Harry Potter, right? Like, this is literally about, being the magic in your own world. Changing things as if by magic because you decide to change yourself. Right? So again, I feel like a big part of the challenge here for you is changing those beliefs. And anybody who tells you that it's easy to break free from these belief systems, programming, trauma, etc., if they say it's easy, they're lying. Certainly there are aspects that can be easier than others, and maybe there are beliefs that are easier to let go of than others. But this is not easy. Changing your belief systems is not easy. Okay? And taking responsibility for your beliefs And the life that you've created is not easy. As a matter of fact, that's why many people don't do it or have not done it. Okay, because it's incredibly challenging. It's not to say that it cannot be done, but it is challenging, right? So, I feel like letting yourself be changed and seeing that doing so can bring more harmony, more balance to your life, can really change your life, is going to be the biggest challenge for you. Again, I'm going to read from the message, just the message part of this card as well. But I am getting fear coming up here. I think that there's a lot of fear because it's been happening over and over the past 30 minutes coming up for you, Aquarius. So I do feel like there's a lot of fear that you are working through this month. And that may look different for everyone, right? Just depending on your experience. This is universal number 5 in this book, which is interesting because 5 represents change, right? It represents adversity. And here we are looking at your challenge. I just find that to be incredibly fascinating and incredibly synchronistic. But it says here, okay, I'm going to read the whole thing here for you. I just feel like it will be helpful. For every effect, there is a cause. Spirit, your higher self. Okay, let me start that over. For every effect, there is a cause. Spirit, your higher self. Your identity creates your beliefs. Your beliefs create your thoughts. Oh my gosh, why can I not read this? Again, for some of you, I feel like the challenge is simply accepting that this is how it is. Okay? I don't know why. It just feels like even trying to read this, trying to get it out, it's like, I don't believe what you're saying. Or it doesn't make sense. So that could also be the challenge as well. Okay, for every effect, there is a cause. Spirit, your higher self. Your identity creates your beliefs. Your beliefs create your thoughts, which create your feelings and emotions, which cause the circumstances of your life. This is the triune nature of the creative process. The unfoldment of through law into form. This law responds in direct proportion to your beliefs. Your experience of life changes to the degree you change your core identity and your beliefs. You may be feeling disempowered and unable to manifest your dreams. By drawing this card, it indicates that you are trying to fix, change, or alter the circumstances of your life. Demonstration unfolds through a creative process that is triune in nature. It is the unfolding of thought through universal laws into form. Stop trying to change the outside world instead of the inside. The results you are experiencing in your life are the direct consequence of the beliefs you have instructed into universal law. The universe is taking your order right now. Be clear, command what you desire, and take inspired action. Be the cause. Take a moment to reflect on emotional traumas you have experienced in your life. Make a list of these incidences. Use inspired action to create a game plan. What inspired action can you take right now to release the limiting beliefs you decided and commanded into your subconscious mind? Right? So again, I feel like it's going to challenge you because here's the thing, right? I mean, I say this with so much love, Aquarius, but on the lower, or maybe the, less favorable characteristics, aspects of your sign, there is that energy of like that disconnection and that irresponsibility. And, we have that energy showing up here. And I feel like this is one of those things where it's going to challenge you by forcing you to look at yourself. And just to be very clear, again, I'm saying this with so much love, nobody likes doing that. right? There gets a point where it gets much easier and where you may welcome it a little bit more freely, right? But it is not easy to look at yourself and take responsibility for what you have created, okay? But to clarify, we have temperance here showing up. So, this is, I feel, again, the challenge is like keeping your calm, maintaining balance, okay? Not losing your cool type of energy. Yeah, I mean, I also feel like there's this energy here of like taking action towards what you are, how do I say, taking action towards, or putting into action what you learn, the truth that is revealed to you, right? Applying it, I feel, kind of like adapting to it. But more than anything, this temperance energy is showing up very much as being patient and maintaining your calm or your balance. Okay? The law of neutrality, practice non-reaction. You also have the Six of Pentacles. So this is very, very fascinating because you have this energy that pretty much is parroting both of these cards that have come through here, right? So you have the law of neutrality, which here the temperance is that balance, that middle ground, that patience. Okay, that not essentially reacting to everything. And then you have this cause and effect here. And here's the Six of Pentacles, which is this energy of essentially, how would we say, resources. Like for me, I often see this as like this giving and receiving energy. Okay, now there may be some who maybe don't resonate with that. But it's this energy for me often, especially with this card, like I read intuitively. So, I see this as like the universe is giving to you and you are receiving, and you're also just you're not holding on to anything either, right? So this cause and effect, in other words, when you are just, you're kind of just freely there, you're being generous, you are sharing your resources, your knowledge, your power, and you're open to receiving knowledge, resources, power. It's like through that you are able to grow, right? That's how it's coming through. So changing your beliefs and not grasping onto things because you're afraid that it's not going to be there, right, allows you to experience these changes in your reality, a more of a flow in your experience, which allows you to grow even more. And so I feel like, having that, if this is your hand here and you have your hand open to the universe and you're not grasping too tightly onto anything, it's like, this can create tremendous growth in your experience, and you can experience beautiful growth and generosity, or rather you can experience beautiful growth and then, also experience generosity from the universe, from God. So that's how I'm seeing this. It's very, very interesting to me. It's like when you release some of these things, when you change your beliefs, you give the universe, you give God an opportunity to give back to you, right? To experience something different. So let's see how this might bless you, because again, I just feel like having that, how would we say, like loosening that control, if you will, is, I feel, going to be a challenge, or could be a challenge for you. There's so much fear coming up, Aquarius. So again, I feel like this is going to be a challenge that letting go of control a little bit, I feel, is going to be, for some of you, incredibly challenging, but it's not impossible. So how will this truth bless you? The law of love, your heart knows no bounds. I mean, that's a pretty big shift. Now, I just want to say that a majority of these tarot scopes for this month have been pretty, how would we say? All of the cards seem to kind of have the same message coming through them for the most part. And yours here seems to be almost like transforming this in one area, or focusing on this aspect of your experience, right? Could bless you in the most unexpected ways, because there's that emotional detachment that I was speaking on earlier. And I feel like having this truth revealed to you and learning how to take this non-reactive, neutral, middle path, changing your beliefs, or allowing yourself to work on changing your beliefs, and allowing that to change your life, I feel like it's going to bless you in regards to love. And that can be love of self. I feel like that could also be love between you and others. It feels like it's going to bring this emotional depth into your experience that you may have been lacking previously, which is really, really fascinating to me. Because it's like something that feels completely foreign and like a completely unexpected result, right? Yeah, because it feels to me like before, I don't even know. I don't know if you were like shut down to love, or just that emotional detachment, like you felt it but weren't really able to bring it through your being. Um, where maybe that what there what I don't know what it is, because it feels like you may have experienced love, but I feel like you didn't trust it. Either you didn't trust the love itself, or you didn't trust the person or the love, whoever you were giving your love to, or you didn't trust what you felt, right? And it feels to me like this could bless you by completely flipping that on its head, where you experience love and it's like, oh wow, like I really actually I'm allowing myself to feel this. Let me dive into the book here and share with you the message from this card to give us a little bit more depth on how this may bless you. But I really feel like this could potentially really impact how you experience emotions. And perhaps you'd be more open to them. Okay. It says, love is the transcending of spirit through your desires, expressing itself as the flow of your heart. By drawing this card, your soul is ready for you to be more expressed in love. The universe is deepening your relationship or bringing you a relationship right now. Your work is to let go of suppression and repression and embrace pleasure, which includes tearing down the walls around your heart. Remember, love points the way, and universal law makes it possible. Right? Um, I just want to read, there's a sentence here in the interpretation that I want to share with you that says, all of life is designed to awaken the self to greater love. Right? So I feel like this is going to bless you in ways that you probably least expect. We do have here the Three of Cups, and it's interesting because Three of Cups in the upright is about friendship and community and happiness. It is, yeah. In the reverse, it's that lack thereof, that lack of friendship, that lack of community, that lack of happiness can also be that like an isolated type of energy. And so I feel that this is going to bless you as again by bringing you deeper relationships. That's what it feels like. I feel like it's going to grow the love that you feel. I don't know why I feel this, but for some of you, I don't know that you've actually experienced like true unconditional love. For some, I don't know why. For some of you, I feel like you may have thought you had experienced true love, but I don't know that you have. And here's why. I feel like for some of you, you have disconnected yourself from your emotions, which would mean that you've disconnected yourself from feeling love within. And and here's the thing, as within, so without. So if you don't allow you to feel love for yourself, like true unconditional love for yourself, how could you possibly experience that externally? Right? So I feel that this could bless you by bringing you a meaningful or deep loving connections. That's not to say that it's going to be a love connection or a romantic connection, but certainly, it could be one of friendship, of acceptance, of community, feeling like you've found your place. Yeah, you have here the Eight of Cups in the reverse. I feel like this, opening your heart to love, I feel like could also, opening yourself up to this truth and allowing your beliefs to be changed through that truth could potentially allow you to face some of the things that you have been unable to face. Because the Eight of Cups in the reverse is about fear of change, fear of loss. It is about avoiding those things, avoiding change, avoiding loss, avoiding emotions, right? Eight of Cups in the upright is, leaving things behind, seeing things for what they truly are, right? Walking away from what's not serving you. And, I feel like there have been things that maybe you have struggled to move on from. And now, I feel like it's going to bless you by allowing you to set free some things that have been causing you pain or have caused you to feel isolated, misunderstood, lacking in love, perhaps. I mean, it's very interesting that you have this cups energy showing up with love, because cups represents water, or, underneath that description, if you will, of water is a love. Right? So, I feel like this is going to bless you by. Okay, so I'm just going to go out on a limb here. For some of you, I feel like it's going to bless you by showing you where you have experienced relationships that were not truly loving. Okay? And I feel like it's also going to show you where you have avoided fears and, emotional pain, perhaps, around some of those things. And, here's the thing. So frequently, we interpret a blessing as something that makes us happy, as something that, solves our problems, or, something of that nature. And in truth, blessings can be so much more than that. There are times that a blessing is us experiencing what is true. But here's the thing, okay? There's a phrase that I say often, and it is, the truth will set you free. But first, it's going to hurt a lot. And that often is the case. Okay? So, this is one of those things where, I feel like the blessing is you can experience beautiful unconditional love for yourself, from others, for others. But I feel like there's this need to face where you have maybe misjudged or misinterpreted some of those connections that you've had, and where you've been afraid to acknowledge that, where you have experienced, let's say, or where you've needed to walk away from something, where you've needed to leave things behind, where you've needed to be disillusioned, but have been afraid of acknowledging that. Okay? So, what guidance will best support your evolution? Don't dim to fit in. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? And what I really feel here is this is about your emotions. Okay? There's this, I feel, truth that we can all use a little bit more of, if you will. And that is that what the emotions that we experience are valuable, and they carry a lot of wisdom for us, right? And here they allow us to accept and embrace the full spectrum of the human experience. And that's how we grow, that's how we evolve as souls. And I feel that the guidance that's going to best support your evolution is to not be hiding from your emotions. Certainly practicing non-reaction, but practicing non-reaction doesn't mean hiding from them or avoiding them. It means it's allowing yourself to see them and asking questions, diving deep, figuring out why you're experiencing them. That's taking responsibility, right? So I feel, again, the guidance for you is to not hide from what you're truly feeling, what you're truly experiencing. Okay? We also have here Imrama, where are you being called to journey to? And right off the cuff, as soon as I read that, I feel for many of you, some of the guidance to best support you is, where are you being called to journey to? Within. Journey within. There's all of that water there. And even when we look, this is, I believe, it reminds me of Petra in Jordan. I'm not sure if that's exactly what it's supposed to be, but that's what it reminds me of. And I feel like, so if you don't know, Petra is kind of like back. You have to kind of go on this journey, if you will, to find it. It's not just out in the open, right? And it's like the entry that I've seen most. I haven't been there myself, but when I've seen it, it's this gap between two rock faces, and that's the means by which you get to it, right? And so that's how it feels to me. It feels like you have to go deep in, right? And I feel like this is where that journey is leading you, because there's fear there. I feel that there's fear that needs to be brought to your attention, that needs to be addressed. Okay? And finally, the guidance to best support your evolution is get grounded. Empaths, highly sensitives, connect with nature. So here's what's really interesting about this is that, how would we say? It's very interesting to me. I feel that for some of you, I feel like you feel things far more deeply than you let on. Really. I feel like some of you try to wear this kind of stone face, if you will, and try to act like things don't get to you or that you aren't affected by things. But I feel, truthfully, you probably feel them very deeply. It's just a matter of, that I choose to separate myself from these things or detach from these things. But it's, how do I say this? It is, again, it's not about completely detaching from them. It's about not reacting to them. Right? I think some of you try to pretend like you don't feel things, which I feel like is completely false. I feel like the truth is you probably feel things very deeply. You're probably very sensitive. And maybe that's why you've detached, right? Maybe that's why you're like, I can't do this. I'm just going to completely step away from my emotions because this is too much for me. And if that's true for you, I feel like the guidance that will best support you is to dive more deeply into that. Oh, I'm an empath. Oh, I'm a highly sensitive person. What does that mean for me? How can I help myself with this knowledge? Right? How can I move through my experience without being completely overcome by what I'm experiencing? Right? Which is why I feel like some of you have chosen to just detach from it. Okay? And some of you may find that connecting with nature more, right? So grounding, like, or maybe you've heard it referred to as earthing, where you're actually putting your body on the physical ground, right? Bare feet on the ground, laying on the ground, sitting underneath a tree, right? Whatever it is, actually allowing the earth to help to move energy through you, to bring you back into balance. So some of you may want to inquire about that more. But I feel like for some of you, again, there may have been this whole like facade or this mask that you've been wearing where it's like, no, these things don't affect me. It's like, actually, it probably affects you far more than what you're leading on or than what you would like to admit. Right? And maybe you've just cut it off at the knees because you've just chosen to not deal with it versus exploring it more deeply and figuring out how you can navigate it. Again, as with everything on this channel, take what resonates with you. But that is the energy that I'm picking up here with the guidance for you to best support your evolution. If there has been something in this reading that has resonated for you, please do the YouTube things by liking, sharing, commenting below, or subscribing. It really does help the channel to grow, and I truly, truly do appreciate you doing so. I appreciate connecting with you, reading your comments. It also helps me as a reader. So again, I do appreciate it so very much. I pray that you have a powerful month, a month where you are able to declare over your life the ability to change the beliefs, change your programming, change your trauma, to change your life, where you can release yourself from some of these things that you've taken on that maybe are no longer serving you and that maybe have held you back or have prevented you from truly experiencing life in a very full, robust way. Take care of your strong, beautiful, loving soul. Peace be with you and within you, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.